Peace. Back at y'all again. Your boy Starface, Spaceship, the one and only. Today I'm gonna build with y'all, or tonight rather, I'm gonna build with y'all on signs, symbols, and etymology, or the study of words. I ain't gonna say etymology necessarily, we just say the study of words. Etymology is more like tracing the origin of the, well, I guess, I don't got my dictionary, but I guess etymology is basically the study of the, tracing the origin of words. That's at least one part of the definition. So we'll just want to break down a couple of things I done, found in this one book in particular that I've been having on my mind. First and foremost, before I even get into the book, let me explain some things about who we are as black people. Now, first and foremost, like I told y'all in that little summary of my life story in the other videos, one of the first major questions I asked myself in my life as a little one, like I said, around 6, 7, 8, something like that, was, you know, when I started to, when you know, because you're born naturally inquisitive, because that's what you come here to do as a soul body, to gather information, and all this information is supposed to be synthesized in commission of developing your soul to find out or come to the realization that your soul is what's real down here. Your physical body is your physical body is what you call your doppelganger or your devil. The devil is not a man underground, or I got a whole book right here called The Devil. You probably see it in the Barnes and Nobles and run from it. Oh no, I'm not reading that, but the book is excellent. It gives you a whole breakdown of the concept of the devil in different civilizations. You know what I'm saying? And because the devil is not. If the devil is pure evil, then you're pure evil, because the devil is just a word that corresponds or refers to your lower nature or your physical body or physical activity here on the planet Earth, which can be evil when it's not balanced out with your soul. But anyway, you know, when I was little, I was like, you know what, you know, so one of the questions I asked myself, I was, well, if we were slaves and we were brought over here as slaves, and we came from Africa where you had this different, we spoke a different language than than we do over here in America. Well, what were we in this book that they're telling me is, you know, my ticket to salvation? I was like, well, what were we reading over there? Because that over there we had to be speaking a different language and looking at another doctrine. So what was we studying before we came here was the question that came to me naturally. Nobody had to implant that question or lead me on to ask myself that. It came naturally, because that's, like I said, we are naturally inquisitive people. It was an intuitive inquisitive, so to speak. So, and that's why I'm so ahead of the game with this shit right now, because that inquisitive part of me never shut down. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, when you ask questions and you're truly devoted to getting the answer, they come to you. The answers come to you eventually. You just have to keep your eye out for it, or open for it, whatever. So, what you have to understand, your concept of God and the devil, heaven, hell, and all that the common belief here now, in not just in America but all around the world, it's a falsehood. There's not a single deity or a man in the sky with a robe on waiting for you to die and look at a list and say, well, you've earned your way into heaven, or you're going to the depths of hell. It's not what it is. See, to understand what we're dealing with here is you have to first say to yourself, well, that's just like, let's say I move into a new neighborhood. I'm forward to this neighborhood. But my next door neighbor been living in this neighborhood for 30 years. My next door neighbor would know more about the neighborhood because my next door neighbor stayed in this neighborhood way before me and longer than me. So if I had that neighbor and I had a neighbor that stayed next door to me that only been in this neighborhood for a year before me, who do you think would know the most about the neighborhood? Common sense. That's how you have to look at this life in general. Because when you tell people what the people who've been on this planet the longest, which are black people, when you tell them the concept of or when you explain the concept that they gave to the world, which all these other concepts are based upon, and I got scholarship to prove that, not just black authors, I'm talking about white authors too. So it's not just a black thing. We're not here just, it ain't even about black and white. This shit is about truth and falsehood. And that shit merges sometimes. So when you tell people who have been brainwashed, whitewashed, and whose minds have been what's the word I'm looking for? Just flooded with false concepts of reality, that are when you tell them the concepts of God and the devil and life in general that our ancestors had, they don't believe you because they're subconsciously running off of a program that was put in their mind during slavery and even before slavery. Just a concept that some people who understood that spirituality is the strongest weapon, or one of the strongest weapons on the earth. So they monopolized or they colonized the information and used it against people for their own advances. If I tell you if I tell you it's a God in the sky, but he told me you need to talk to me to get to him, and he'll give you the message through me, then I could tell you anything if you actually believe that. If you're devoted to the God in the sky, but I'm telling you that you have to get to him through me, I can manipulate you and tell you anything tell you to do anything I want you to do, and you'll do that shit. Jump off the building, God says so. Whoop, there you go. Yeah. So that's how you gotta think about this shit when you look at religious establishments like the Catholic Church, and Christianity as well, but the Roman Catholic Church is the mother of what you modern Christians abide by, or the doctrine's job, or the interpretation of the doctrine. Because even the doctrine, even the teachings, or the things that are within the Bible are not bad or negative within itself. The interpretation, the way you've been taught to understand this information, is the problem. That's why I tell niggas all the time, I know when a nigga knows something, because when a nigga online and he just bashing the Bible, he don't know shit. Now you got some niggas that are bash like me, you might hear me say something that the Christians don't agree with, but I will take you to parts of the Bible or use something out the Bible and show you what that shit mean, because I understand where all this information comes from. And I understand the underlying I understand the underlying meaning of all this information, because I know where it comes from. It comes from African people. The Bible, Islam, Buddhism, all that, whatever anything that's any of the major religions you can name, that shit gets traced right back to Africa. So, when you tell people what we would like this skull right here, see, people think, oh, that's evil. Oh, he's a spooky guy. No, it has nothing to do with good and evil. Go look at my Instagram page. I already broke down what the skeleton and the skull and all that mean, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna get to that right now. But it's African in origin. The reason why we venerate or use the skull as one of our symbols, just like those symbols that the Masons use and the quote unquote Illuminati and all that y'all scared of. All that is black African shit. So when you see me rocking something and that's quote unquote associated with any kind of secret society, just know I'm not with them. I know this is my shit. I'm taking my shit back and using it the same way they use it against you. Because that's what they do. Because these symbols have an impact on your subconscious mind. You don't know that though. So when you out here doing things that go against your best interest, because your mind is being programmed through everything around you, signs and symbols of TV shows, restaurants, stores, you name it. They take the symbols and use it. Like I told niggas about the McDonald's shit. It's yellow and red. The colors. The yellow activates your will. The red activates your lower nature, which deals with things like eating. So what they're trying to do when you see a McDonald's sign is activate your will to come in there to eat. Eat pure garbage. So, back to what I was saying. The concepts, if you want to know about this world, the truth about this world, you have to go back to when the original people, you have to go back to the concepts that the original people of this planet laid down, and the doctrines that the original people laid down, so you can understand everything that came after that, even in its distorted morph form. You know what I'm saying? It's homogenized form or whatever. That's why I can see through the lie. I could pick up the Bible and it could say this, and the preacher can say, yeah, this means that. And I'm like, no, this means this, and that. I bust a preacher head open. Real nigga shit. You know what I'm saying? When I say bust his head open, I just mean I would smoke him out in a hypothetical debate. It's not even about debate. You know what I'm saying? Even when I'm online and I'm debating this, we'll just say that, or expressing my what I know up against somebody else, what they know. This shit comes from a knowing. It's not, I'm just pulling shit out my ass, or I read it from the book and I'm just coming to tell you. No, I read it from the book and I comprehend. I come to an understanding through my comprehension process. I don't take it on face value. I actually investigate the information within my own mind, because everything is within you. That's why education comes from the word. Education comes from the word educare, which means to draw out. So you think education is somebody putting something in you, but the information that you're supposed to be educated with, or the information that somebody gives you, is supposed to draw out what you already know. So somebody's supposed to tell you something, and you're supposed to take it, and it's supposed to resonate with something that you already know within your subconscious mind, and bring that to the surface, and you add on to that. That's how you discern what's real and what's not. So, if you're black and you boycotting because of injustice towards black people, and you're so black, be black. Go back and study what you come from. Don't just say I'm black and I'm Africa this, and put on beads and a dashiki, and ain't nothing wrong with all that, but don't do all that, and then don't, and that's superficial. Locking your hair up, you know what I'm saying? Screaming catchphrases on Facebook, welcome to Wakanda and all that shit. That's, and I'm not dissing, I'm just being honest, man. That is pageantry. You have to get to the meat of this shit. And some of y'all may never will because you don't want to. Because this shit is not for the faint of heart. It's not for those that do not have the willpower to wrestle with this shit in their mind and think on the information that they read, if they so choose to go and read. Because the average motherfucker don't even want to read nothing these days. You just want to look at a meme and say, hey, that guy's got it. Repost. That's why I don't have, that's why, anyway, you have to go back and study. It's tons of information. Some of the information you have art, you have black authors, you have white authors. Sometimes the white authors get it wrong, sometimes the black authors get it wrong. That's why you have to synthesize the information and see how this information works together. When you bring it together, put the pieces of the puzzle together, and have a sense of discernment to it. Because me, I can tell, I know, I studied this shit so much to the point to where I can tell when an author is trying to mislead you, and I can tell when an author is giving misinformation, excuse me, based off of a lack of ignorance or a lack of knowing himself. Because it's not always about an author trying to trick you or lie to you. Sometimes a lot of these authors are white, and this they don't get it because, like I said, a lot of times they have to come to us, black people that are really into this shit, to get the true meaning of all this ancient information, because it's in our DNA. You know what I'm saying? I done heard stories of niggas that who ain't even never studied nothing but can decipher hieroglyphs. And I had to book coming forward by day. You know what I'm saying? They give you a hieroglyph and they give you the break, they give you the translation of it, of the hieroglyph. And sometimes I can look at the hieroglyph before I even look at the translation and figure that shit out, then look at the translation and I be right. That's how I challenge myself. You know what I'm saying? So, you ain't doing that. Don't even step to me talking about trying to challenge me and all that shit, because when I does this shit, and that goes to whomever. I'm not a poser, my nigga. I gets busy. This shit is in me, nigga. I am Christ. So, listen to me when I speak, because I speak truth. But don't just take my word for it. Go get the books I refer to you when I give you the books. So you could teach yourself as well. Just like I do. I listen to niggas online. And the nigga that I pay the most attention to, I don't even have to question the shit the niggas saying, because when they said it, it already resonates what I know. So I know, you know what I'm saying? I listen to countless amounts of hours of my teachers that I, you know, for lack of a better phrase, and it be information I know. I listen to the same lecture over and over and over and over, and get more and more information out the same lecture, because this shit resonates with you in a different way when you on the path, or so to speak. So if you're not gonna do your work and go back and study these books, then you don't even have to be just listening to me, because it doesn't stop with me. It doesn't stop. If you can't read, then yeah, you might need to follow me then. And what I'm gonna tell you, while you following me, you need to learn how to read. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to be dependent on another person all the time. Because we all lean on each other for information and all that. But ultimately, you have to walk your own path, man. You know, I'm not the preacher. I'm not the nigga that's trying to make you think you just need me so I can drain you of all your money. Now, when I or turn this into a business, I would appreciate your business and I will deal with you honestly as possible with this shit, because there's nothing wrong with you making money off of teaching. I mean, this is the greatest shit in the world. Why not be able to get paid off of it? But you don't, it's not about trying to trick the people or mislead the people. See, when the money becomes more than, or starts to mean more than giving the people the truth to the best of your ability, that's when we have a problem. When you start having to do all this shenanigans and creating controversy around the science gets lost, especially with black people, because I can sit here and be giving you the best information ever, and a roach can crawl behind me on that wall, and niggas will make memes and jokes, and that'll be the biggest thing niggas get out of the whole goddamn video, and everything that I taught gets lost. Niggas don't even make a big deal about that. You know what I'm saying? That's how niggas operate right now. We have a problem right now. Not dissing. I'm not trying to get on black people, but I just have to be honest. We have a sickness. Yeah, I don't really like to say we, because I know I'm straight. But I'll say we because no child should be left behind. So I'm here. So understand that your concept of God was given to you by some people who wanted to control the way you think. When they make you believe that you're not God and God is out there somewhere, you become a slave to something that doesn't even exist. You become a slave to a concept that they've given you. And by you being a slave to that concept, you indirectly become a slave to them. So they can tell you whatever they want. And like I said, you want to know the true concept of God, go back and look. This book right here, simple. It's not hard. This is Naeem Akbar. Right there with the Heru Falcon. Simple book. He doesn't make it difficult. It's not a bunch of, well, what is he saying? And flim flam. And no, he puts it as simple as possible. You read this book and you really dedicated, you will get a glimpse of what you need to, the mentality you need to have. He's a psychologist. Naeem Akbar. He's a psychologist. A lot of people, never mind, but he's a psychologist. You know, I was just gonna say a lot of people kind of try to make them persona non grata based off of personal things or whatever, but I judge a nigga based off his work. And I've read that book, and I've read African Origins of Psychology by him. 2 excellent books. Go get them. Simple shit. That is a good beginner book right there for you to step into other books like, but I don't have it with me. It's in the other room. Books like Ancient Egypt, Light of the World. I wouldn't even suggest you get the books in whatever order you want to, but I wouldn't even suggest you go get Ancient Egypt, Light of the World until you read Ancient Egypt, Light for All. Not ancient, but Light from Ancient Africa. And then go get the books where the symbolism is getting expounded on. Because you have people that look at me crazy without, you're the same person that'll be saying all this, I'm black, black, black. Then when I start explaining to them black spirituality, like I was saying about the chick, she posted up something like, she said something like, pray to God, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, and the rest of the meme was cool, but when we got to that part, I was like, well, look, the pray to God part, that's vague. I'm like, you're praying to something that doesn't exist. And you can activate your ancestors and get in tune with your ancestors, somebody that passed away, because that's real. Getting guidance from your spirit, or people who passed on and moved outside the body, that's real. And subconsciously to even the most Christianist person in the world, and it's not a word, but whatever, the biggest Christian in the world, still says stuff like what? I know my grandmother's watching over me. That wasn't nobody but Bobby Ray who saved me that day when this happened, or this, that, and the third. Because subconsciously, it's still embedded in your mind, in your DNA. We still operate off of our African mentality. We just don't understand it when we see it and when we're manifesting it. So, like I said, you will have somebody that's online, somebody they black this, black that, but then when you start talking about the original concept of God that our ancestors had, all of a sudden it's a block. No, no, no. God is going to get you for saying that. No, there is no one God in the sky. You have to let that go. You know what I'm saying? There is no babysitter. You know what I'm saying? You have to become God to understand God. And even God is a low word. I just use that word because this is what people are familiar with. But even that is low level. It's no particular title you can put on what we refer to as God. To define it is defile it. That's an old saying right there. So when you try to put it in one box, you're killing it. This shit is everything around you, within you, and all. Everything has a part of the essence in it to one degree or another. And that's what our ancestors were trying to get to niggas. So when you see all them different people be like, oh, they worship many different gods. They worship a lot of different gods. Like, no, they worship many different aspects of the one God. But there's no one man or one thing in the sky. Everything has its place within this universe. Just like your physical body has more than one part. You don't just say, oh, I'm a heart, or I'm a lung, or I'm a arm, or I'm a head. You say I'm a body with a leg and an arm and a heart and all that. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. To know God is to know the part. To know God is to know His handiwork or her handiwork or its handiwork, which is the physical universe. That's what the physical universe is here for. This is your homework assignment or whatever. This is what you use to you study everything around you. You study psychology, how your mind reacts to certain experiences and certain symbols and things around you. Life itself. Life is supposed to be a lesson. And if you don't get the lesson, you keep coming back to the physical and being trapped in a physical body until you get it right. Just like if you fuck up in the 6th grade, you're coming back to the 6th grade. So, let me get to this right here. Show you how I rock. Yeah. First and foremost, another thing. Show you another trick they've played on you over the years. They will take a word, because words are power. They will take a word and make you believe that this word has a negative connotation. Just like the word nigga. Nigga is a word that refers to divineness. People are like, well, nigga is niggas, and niggas means king. Yeah, well, the king is divinity. To be a king is to be divine. So by default, the word nigga means God or divine. They call you nigga with, see, when they was calling you niggas, when they was whipping your ass in that slave, in that plantation and shit, they called you nigga, and it was a negative thing to them because they are not that. You're the black man and the black woman is a nigga. So to them, that was the enemy. They like the nigga in them is the enemy. So to them, it was negative. You know what I'm saying? Just like, to break it down to some simple shit, Crip and Blood. To a Blood, a Crip is negative. So, of course, they're going to have a negative disposition towards a Crip. You dig what I'm saying? So you let them tell a story. A Crip is the worst thing ever. But if you a Crip, you know what? That's wrong. I'm a Crip, and that whoop, they're gonna defend themselves. You know what I'm saying? But to a Blood, a Crip is a negative thing. No different with this. To them, the soul of the black man is the enemy, the nigga. But you've been trying to look at things through the eyes of them, so now you look at the word as if it's something negative. That's why they start eventually. That's why in the late 90s or the early 2000s, whatever, they start trying to stop niggas from using the word because they understand that this word invokes power. You know what I'm saying? That's why they had Al Sharpton and the boys trying to have a funeral for the word nigga. That's why Nas came out with the nigga album. Like, yeah, no, we're not gonna bury the word. Yeah, we gonna keep it pumping. You know what I'm saying? Niggas. And there's many different variations for it. It's not just, some people like, oh, it's not niggas, Nigger or Niggaz is people be like, oh, that's the fucked up version of it. It's Nagoose. It's like, no, all this shit, I can show you that word in many different variations. Nigga, niggas, nakal, niggo, nagoo, nigga fushalin. I see some shit. A chick from Africa, her name was Nigga Fushalini or something like that. But it was spelled Nga. Inga, nigga, Inga. All that. So, miss me with them, man. Don't call me a nigga. I'm a black brother. No, fuck that. You're okay, well, you're not a nigga then. Because if you don't know that, you need to go do some studying. But these words, just like the snake. See, now we let this Bible thing make us feel like the snake is just evil in itself. But the snake is another symbol of divinity. But they make you believe that the snake is something evil, so that when you see a snake, that's just like my kinfolk. I was telling them about Kundalini energy, raising Kundalini energy. Kundalini means coiled serpent. That's when your life force is coiled at the bottom of at the base of your spine, within your lowest chakra. When it's just stuck down there, that's when the only thing you can deal with or understand is physical, material reality, if we want to call it reality, because this shit is an illusion. So it's coiled at the base of your spine. But through different practices, you can raise this shit up, and sometimes traumatic situation or trauma, like I was telling y'all in my video, I've been raising my Kundalini before I even knew what I was doing. I was 5 or 6 years old, and I figured out the reason why I started so early is because when I was young, I stuck my foot in a tub with scalding hot water. That was a traumatic situation. So, and then raising the Kundalini energy up is what happens when your body is healing itself. It's a fire. That's why when you're sick, you get a fever. The fever itself is burning off that which is making you sick, because your Kundalini is rising to heal your body and heat your body up to burn off the toxins that are causing you to be sick. So when I burnt my foot, I had to raise my Kundalini energy up subconsciously, because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing when I was young. It came online by itself. And I just kept doing it. Since I was 6 or 7 years old, I'll be running around playing, and sometimes I just get the notion to just stop, be still, and raise that energy up my spine, and let it hit the top of my the base of my skull, hit my pineal gland, and I would feel that warm, tingling feeling go through all out my body. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Then I got older, started learning about Kundalini energy. I said, oh, that's what I was doing. And that's why I'm so much of an advanced thinker, because that stimulates your intelligence as well. So, but that energy was symbolized as a snake. So my kinfolk were like, well, I don't get it. Cause how do you do it? How you raise your Kundalini energy? Now the same guy is terrified of snakes. You know, he has a snake phobia. He doesn't even like to see him on TV or none of that. That's because the mind has been programmed to view this as something. Now, I'm not saying if you see a goddamn boa constrictor, you stand right there and let the motherfucker strike you or whatever. Now, that's a different. I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to show you how symbolism works and how they use it against you. Because he'll see a snake. He don't like the concept of snakes. So if you don't like the concept of snakes, that same symbol, which is the snake, that we used to use to invoke or raise up the Kundalini energy, it's negative to you and you don't want to deal with snakes, it kind of makes sense why you don't understand Kundalini energy or how to raise it up. And I'm not dissing my kinfolk or knocking them or none of that. I'm just trying to teach here. So, and I said that because I'm finna get into this word right here. Now, peep, this is serious mystery. And this book has more evidence of who I am and what I came to do and what time we living in. For any nigga out there that wanna say I'm crazy for saying I'm Christ, and I always tell niggas too, y'all have the Christ energy in us, but all that shit that we've been reading about and they've been telling us that's coming back and all that, I am that. And we are that in the sense of the reawakening of who we are, of understanding who we are. But this shit is, I'm the head of this shit to us. And I don't even like saying it like that because I don't want people to think I'm trying to take advantage or be condescending but I just have to be real with you because my life, the events of my life all line up with all this information. So let me get to this. It said it would now do to elaborate further on the point so recently made. Basically saying the things that was spoke on before we got to this page, you know what I'm saying? All the information preceding up to this point of this page right here. It should be noted that in Egyptian, the hieroglyph Shet, T-C-H-E-T, this is where the word shit comes from. And I'm going to show you how. Not from something I read somewhere else or none of that. For me just seeing this word in another book and putting it together. And I think it was this book right here. The one I just showed you. I can't remember, but I came across that word earlier in my studies and I put it together because my mind is still symbol literate. And I'm going to show you something else he says in here too to give you an understanding of who I am and who you should be. But it says, it should be noted that in Egyptian, the hieroglyph Shet, T-C-H-E-T, to shit, or shit, the T will kind of be silent, but whatever. It says in Egyptian, the hieroglyph to shet of a serpent, which is what I just told you, the symbol, the sign of a snake, means both serpent and body. The cobra hieroglyph A-R-A, Ara, means both serpent and goddess. The Kundalini energy is a feminine energy. You know what I'm saying? The Kundalini energy, the fire, it's more of a physical thing, so it corresponds more to the feminine nature or the feminine aspect of itself. But the energy, masculinity, one of the characteristics of masculinity is activity or motion. So the motion that runs it up your back is the masculine aspect of it. The serpentine fire itself is the feminine. The cobra hieroglyph A-R-A or Ara, or aura, just like your aura that surrounds your physical body, means both serpent and goddess. Elsewhere we encounter aura frequently having the common general meaning of goddess. The frequent incorporation of the serpent into late Sirius lore among the Greeks probably stems from a pun or corruption of the Egyptian determinator form of goddess, or form for goddess, in reference to the goddess Isis, Sothis or Isis. That's the same thing. Sothis is basically, Sothis is Isis would be Isis, the goddess Isis. Sothis would be a combination of Isis and Osiris. The S-O, when you see S and O, that's Osiris. It's S-O, sometimes you see it O-S, but the S and the O is Osirian. That's her husband, that's the king. So Soth and Is, when you see Is, Sis, and all that refers to Isis.